Hi, everyone. Welcome again to another day, another Thursday lunch break mental health on the mat. So, my name is Kelsey, and I am a therapist in Washington State. And this month we are focusing on yoga classes based on the theme of somatics and somatic release. This week we will be focused on bilateral stimulation, which is integrating the left and the right hemisphere for a whole brain experience to help us move through anything that might be stuck in the analytical part of our brain or the emotional part of our brain and find the pathway between the two. We'll get started here in just a moment, but since you are probably on your lunch break, maybe working, first thing to do today is just find a comfortable seat where we can begin a little meditation to get us started for today. You can also do this meditation standing up or laying down. It's up to you. Anywhere where you can have your arms crossed over each other. Beautiful. All right, I'm just going to pin my screen so that everyone can see me throughout the day. Reminder, you can join at any time and leave at any time. Just be adding a few people as we go through here today. Hello to those of you who just joined and welcome to Mental Health on the Mat. Just as a reminder to everybody, I'll keep my video pinned. Your videos will stay off for today so that you can practice your yoga practice at your own space and don't have to worry about being on camera or anything like that. So all we're doing right now is finding a comfortable seat to dive into a little bit of a meditation to begin today. For context, we are in the month of October and we're working with somatic release and somatic movement for throughout the whole month of October. Today, specifically, we're focused on bilateral stimulation. So, as I mentioned, this meditation can be done standing or seated at your desk if you're still in the middle of your workday, or you can lay down on your mat to get that started. All we're going to do to begin is find that comfortable seat, find that comfortable spot that you want to be. You can begin to notice your breath, allowing yourself to arrive and drop in and be present with the practice for today. If your eyes naturally want to close, you can go ahead and close them. If not, maybe just soften your gaze. Noticing that gentle rise and fall of your lungs as you breathe. Noticing the sound of my voice guiding you, and maybe even the subtle sound of your breath as it fills your lungs and then leaves and cycles through again. Since we're focused on integrating the left and the right side of our bodies and our brains and our bilateral stimulation today, we'll be cueing for some movements that cross our meridian, cross our front line, our center line, and pendulate between the left and right side. For now, we're just noticing the breath as it comes through both of our nostrils and out again. Everything in this class is an invitation, so you're welcome to join along or pause or do anything else that your body wants to do or needs to do today. The next invitation is to cross your arms in front of you, almost like you're giving yourself a hug, and hold on to opposite arms here. Doesn't matter which arm is on top, which arm is on bottom. Continue your breathing. And just notice what it feels like to have your hands touching your arms touching your hands, finding that space of contact. Seeing if you can soften a little bit into this holding of yourself to ease and gentle just a little bit more. And again, you can choose to stay here or add on for your practice today by gently squeezing your left arm with your right hand and releasing. Pendulating to the opposite side, squeezing your right arm with your left hand and releasing. Back to the opposite side. And slowly beginning this movement, this pendulation back and forth, squeezing one arm, then the other arm. Allowing right now for your body to go at any pace that it wants to go. You can imagine a cat kneading its little paws, your hands kneading on opposite arms, back and forth. If you want to and your body feels like it's right, you can add in some swaying, rocking side to side. This is a great somatic tool for any time when you're feeling a little overwhelmed, a little agitated, a little stressed from whatever emotion it is. There's maybe a little bit too much of that emotion. Because it's a nice, slow movement, it has a calming effect. And because it increases awareness on alternating sides of your body, engaging in that bilateral stimulation, it helps you stay balanced, helps you regulate emotions, helps you drop into your body, come back to the present moment, just noticing the sensations that are here. Continuing this rhythm, you can see if there are any words that want to come through for you today. Maybe an affirmation, maybe a question to ponder, or maybe there are no words and your brain just wants to be in silence throughout the practice today. Either way, finding some space in this moment to create a little bit of intention. Letting that intention fill your body, move with you, flow with you, rock with you, squeeze with you, breathe with you. And wherever you're at, whatever pace you're going, see if you can slow it down just a little bit. Noticing the calm that comes with that. And seeing if you can move so slowly that you barely notice any movement at all. And when your body finds that stillness, you can go ahead and release your arms down to your knees or to your lap. Take a few breaths here. As always, for our practice, we start with a little bit of a meditation, and then we move to some chair yoga, and finally some standing yoga for the last part of our flow today, And throughout the whole thing, I'll incorporate mental health tools. I'm a therapist in Washington State, but this is not a substitution for therapy. Um, it's a yoga practice that just adds a little bit of mindfulness to your day. Wherever you're at right now, move to a seated position, whether it's on your mat or on a chair, where you can begin to add in a little bit more movement. I'm going to scooch back. Today, I don't have a chair. I just have my bolster that I'm going to sit on for today's seated flow. Wherever you have is great. So come to a comfortable seated space. You'll want room for your arms, room for your legs to move around. We're going to begin by tucking our chin to our chest and just letting our head hang down for a moment. Breathing into the space in between your shoulder blades. And with each exhale, letting your shoulders drop down a little bit more. Begin to roll your head to the side, tucking your left ear to your left shoulder. And just let gravity, the weight of your head, open this stretch for you. Continue the movement around, being very gentle as you roll your head back, lifting your chin to the sky. If this is uncomfortable on your neck, you can bring your hands behind your head to support you. Continuing around, bringing your right ear to your right shoulder. Again, just letting gravity do its work here. And continuing to roll down. Let's add a little bit of fluidity in this movement. Continuing to keep a slow space, slow pace as you roll your head around. Pausing and moving in the opposite direction. Waking up your neck, waking up your shoulders. When you find your chin tucked back down to your chest, gently roll your head up so your chin is parallel to the floor. Your ears are above your shoulders. Go ahead and reach your arms wide, inhaling as you reach up, palms facing each other. Inhale to create that length, continuing to reach up, exhaling to drop your shoulders down. Make loose fists with your hands. And begin to roll your wrists as you slowly spread your arms wide, bringing them down and out to the sides. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhaling our arms up, palms together, curling into loose fists. And as you roll your hands down on each side, try and build that awareness between noticing what's happening in both your left hand and your right hand at the same time. Inhaling 1 more time, palms together, making those loose fists. And this time, seeing if you can roll your wrists in opposite directions, or maybe just at different paces. Create a little bit of variety between what's happening on the left side and the right side. Whether you're seated on your chair or on your mat, go ahead and inhale your hands one more time. Exhale, bring your hands down in front of you. They can be on your knees if you're on a chair, slide them down your shins, or if you're on the mat, you can slowly walk your hands forward to come into a seated forward fold. This is a good practice of listening to what your body wants, how your body wants to move, how far you can reach forward today. Taking a breath here, breathing into the back of your heart space, and using those hands to walk your upper body back up to center. Take your right hand, place it on top of your left knee. Your left hand is going to reach behind you to the back of your chair or to the mat behind you. Look over your left shoulder as you continue to twist around. Inhaling to lengthen through the crown of your head. Exhaling to deepen into that twist. Gently untwisting, moving through center, bringing your left knee to your right hand on the mat or chair behind you, looking over that right shoulder. Untwisting back to center. Beautiful. Bring your hands together in front of you, fingers touching first. As you bring your hands up, palms will begin to touch till your hands are at heart center. Inhale to lengthen through the crown of your head, straightening your spine. Exhaling, you're going to try to bring that right elbow as close as it wants to go to your left knee. It might not all the way touch. You might need to lift your knee up a little bit to give you support. Press your palms together. Your left elbow is going to reach towards the sky and your gaze is going to follow. Another variation on a twist here. Untwisting, hands at heart center. And then repeating on the opposite side, bringing your left elbow to your right knee, pressing into your palms, right elbow up to the sky as your gaze follows. See if in this pose you can breathe into the front, the sides, and the back of your ribs. Untwisting, coming back to center. If you're seated on a chair, you can keep your legs as they are. If you are seated on a bolster or on your mat, you're going to stretch your legs out in front of you. Go ahead and bring your right ankle up over your left knee. You can place your hands wherever feels comfortable. You just want your ankle and foot to have room to begin to do some ankle rolls to wake up your feet. You can take your left hand to squeeze that right foot. Give yourself a little bit of a massage. Inhaling your arms up to the sky. We're going to hinge first forward. And when our hips don't want to bend anymore, then we can begin to send our arms down, float our arms down to reach towards our left foot on the ground. If you are on a bolster, you might notice you need to bend your knee a little bit so you're not hyperextending it. You're going to feel the stretch on the right leg here. Great. Let's sit up and do the opposite side. Stretch that right leg long. Bring your left foot up above your right knee so it's not on the joint. Begin with some ankle rolls. Go ahead and squeeze that foot. Give yourself a little bit of a foot massage. And again, inhaling arms high first, hinging at the hips, folding forward over that front leg. You can just let your head hang here for a moment. Then walking your upper body up, unfolding your legs. You can bring them back to a seated position. Let's inhale both of those arms up. Clasp our palms together at the top. Exhale, send our arms over to the left side, making sure you're not rounding down, stacking your shoulders, opening through the front of your chest. Inhaling to lengthen through center, exhaling to round down to the opposite side, remembering to keep those shoulders stacked. To help with this, your gaze can look up through under your top elbow. Moving back up through center, exhaling, send your arms wide in opposite directions. And go ahead and place your right hand in your lap as you begin to make large arm circles with your left side. See if you can tie your breath to these circles. Where in the circle, which point of the circle is going to represent the peak of your inhale? Which point in the circle represents the peak of your exhale? You might need to slow your arm movements down or speed them up to tune to your breath. Planting your left hand in your lap, continuing with your right arm, large circles up and around, tying it to your breath. Beautiful. Okay. Another bilateral stimulation technique we're going to try for moving our bodies today is called alternate arm pumping. So go ahead and make those fists again with your hands. And this time you're just going to pump down like you are aiming towards the ground, but you're not going to actually hit the ground. And you're going to alternate as you pump the air around you. Maybe feel some heat rising in your body. And you can do this in any direction that feels good. You can pump your arms out to the side. You can pump your arms up. If you're ever feeling something that has high intensity emotions, and the squeezing hug that we did at the beginning was a little too mild for you, this can help bring in that bilateral stimulation with a bit more energy and a bit more excitement for your body. Great. Go ahead and shake out your hands, let your arms rest. If you're seated in a chair, you're going to come up onto your toes so that your heels are lifted. If you're seated on the mat, you're going to bring your legs out in front of you so your knees are lifted and your feet are flat on the mat. If you're on a chair, you can use the armrest to hold you steady. If you're on the mat, you can use your hands behind you to support you. We're going to rock our knees from side to side, windshield wipering them as we go. Opening our hips, creating a little bit of stretch here. Great. And when your legs find the center again, we're going to pause here. If you only had a half-hour lunch today, you can go ahead and hop off the call and return to the rest of your workday. If you are staying for the rest of the class and want to continue with the standing flow for today, First thing you're going to do is go and find some kind of small, light-ish object. I have a pipe cleaner caterpillar that I made I use as a fidget toy when I'm doing a lot of computer work. So I'm going to use this today, but you could use a sock, you could use a spoon if you have that for lunch today, or a fork. Pretty much anything that can be handheld. Go ahead and grab that, move your chairs aside, and then meet me on the mat when you're ready. For those of us who are waiting, we're just going to practice first grounding down through the four corners of our feet, finding our midline, finding our center of balance. Great. And with our object, we're going to pass it to the opposite hand in front of us, reach around to the back and pass it to the opposite hand in the back, moving this object around our midline. You can go faster if that feels comfortable. Any pace that feels good. Notice what it's like to give from one hand, receive from the opposite hand. Maybe switching directions. Oops, dropped my object there. Great. This is a great bilateral stimulation tool to use with kids, if you work with young people, or if you find that your mind needs a little bit more engagement. Go ahead and continue around. You can pass this object, lifting your left leg, pass it under your left knee to your left hand. And then on the opposite side, passing it to your right hand, creating a little bit of a figure eight with the object as you move around. Great, continuing to pass it through. Another fun one if your mind tends to wander and you need a little bit more mental engagement. All right, go ahead and set that object down to the side. We're going to meet today at the back of our mats, facing the long side of our mat in mountain pose. So knees stacked above our ankles, hips above our knees, shoulders above our hips, ears above our shoulders, palms facing the front. Inhale, both arms reaching up. Exhale, drop those hips down. You're going to engage your core as we come into chair pose. Noticing some length through your lower back so you're not arching your lower back. Listening to your body, standing up if chair pose is too intense for you today. Sinking down deeper if you want more strength building. Exhale, forward fold, straighten your legs as you wind your way down, keeping a little bit of a bend in the back of your legs there. Grab onto opposite elbows like we did in the beginning and just let your body hang here for a moment. You can shake your head, nod your head. Mm. Releasing that grip on your elbows, let your hands slide up your feet, up your shins to your knees as you lengthen your upper body for a halfway lift. Exhaling, bending in the knees until your hands meet the mat, walking your hands forward to come into downward dog, sending your hips to the sky, pressing your shoulders down to the mat, lengthening from the crown of your head through your tailbone. Great way to add some bilateral stimulation in this pose is to pedal out each of your feet. So lifting your left heel, lifting your right heel, and alternating back and forth. Great, everyone. All right, let's shift our body weight forward, bringing our shoulders over our hands as we drop our hips down to come into plank pose. Exhale, releasing your knees down to the mat, keeping your spine straight, bending in the elbows to lower your body down to the mat. Untucking your toes. You can inhale, lifting your chest, your chin, your shoulders, squeezing your legs together for cobra. And exhaling back down to the mat. Let's do that 2 more times, squeezing your legs together, your glutes, your back muscles, lifting your chin, your chest, your shoulder, and releasing everything back down to the mat. One last time, lifting and exhaling down to the mat. Pressing up with your arms, keeping your knees on the mat. We're gonna walk to tabletop position. So hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Toes can either be tucked or long on the mat. Lift your chin to the sky as you sink your belly down, moving through cow pose. Take a few breaths here, imagining a string pulling your belly button down to the mat. And on your next exhale, tuck that chin to your chest, just like we did in the beginning. Round your spine, tucking your belly button now up towards your spine. And exhaling, moving through a neutral spine. Go ahead and tuck those toes. Make your way to standing at the back of your mat again. I'm just gonna look at the time here for a moment. Great, we're doing good. We're gonna add on to that flow. Beginning again in mountain pose, palms towards the front of your mat, inhaling your arms high, exhaling, sinking down into our chair pose, engaging that core, choosing the level of difficulty that this is for you, listening to your body. This time, keeping your legs in chair pose, bringing your hands down to your center, palms pressed together, hands at heart center. Exhaling, you're going to twist that right elbow down towards your left knee, hinging at your hips. Left elbow to the sky, pressing strong, both palms together. Your gaze is going to follow that elbow up, looking towards the ceiling. Untwisting, coming back to standing, folding forward into our forward fold. Sliding your hands along your shins, your knees. Inhaling to halfway lift. Exhaling, dropping down again, bending in the knees to walk your hands forward to come into our downward dog. Pressing those shoulders to the mat, hips to the sky. Before sending your weight forward, shoulders over your hands. Dropping your knees down to the mat as you lower yourself down from plank pose. Inhaling to lift your shoulders, your chest, your chin to cobra. Exhaling, press into the mat, moving through our tabletop position. This time we're going to look over our shoulders to the left side. So looking over your left shoulder to your left hip. Taking a breath, breathing into the right side of your body, and letting your gaze wander around to the opposite side, looking over your right shoulder towards your right hip. And moving back to center. Repeating on the opposite side, we're going to move up past our heels, past our knees to come to standing again at the back of our mat. Inhaling those arms up high, exhaling, sinking those hips low for chair pose. Relaxing your arms as they come palms together at heart center. This time, bringing your left elbow over to the outside of your right knee, hinging at the hips here. Pressing palms together, gaze and right elbow towards the ceiling. Untwisting, you can stand back up to reset, or you can dive straight into our forward fold. Taking a breath here before sliding your palms up your shins, your knees, lengthening from tailbone through the crown of your head from wall to wall. Exhaling, bending in the knees, planting your hands on the mat and walking forward into our downward dog. From this pose, shifting your weight forward to come into plank pose. Long line from heel through your spine, through the crown of your head, planting your knees on the mat, slowly lowering your upper body down. Inhaling to lift your chest, your chin up, and exhaling to lower back down. Pressing up through our tabletop position. This time you can choose how you want to move your spine, whether you move through a cow and a cat pose, or you wag your little tail like a dog, looking from side to side. Or you can imagine you're a spatula on the inside of a peanut butter jar, scraping out the last little bits of peanut butter. Coming again to standing on your mat. Make your way to the center of your mat. We can switch directions. It's good for neuroplasticity to be facing a new direction. Kind of tricks your brain a little bit. Grounding down through the four corners of your feet. We're going to begin some bamboo sways. So bamboo sways, you're just rocking from side to side. Imagining you're a bamboo stalk in the wind. If you want to, you can add in the squeezing that we were doing on opposite arms earlier. Through this movement, we can help get closer to and find our center of gravity. So slowing your movements down until you feel like your weight is equal between your left and right foot. From there, inhale your arms up, clasp your hands together over top. We're going to exhale, send our upper body arms to the left side. Remembering to stack those shoulders, you can look up to help your shoulders stay stacked on top of each other. Continuing to reach forward, lengthening through your arms. Inhaling back up to center. You have the option to do that same pose again, or you can try extra difficulty by shifting your weight to your right foot, lifting your left leg about 6 inches or so off the ground. Inhaling your arms high, clasping those hands together, and again, sending your upper body over to the left side. Great. Inhale back up through center. Send those arms down to give them a break. We'll be shifting our weight this time over to the left side, picking up that right foot just a little bit. Inhaling our arms up. This time, arms stay separate, palms facing each other, about a foot apart. I know my hands are off screen, so sorry you can't see them. This is our one-legged five-pointed star variation. And exhale, return to center. Continuing with our bamboo sways to reset. Adding in the arms for some soothing and some grounding. Finding that center point where your weight is equally distributed above each of your feet. Inhaling your arms up, clasping your hands together, and this time sending them over to the right side. Keeping those shoulders stacked. Inhaling to center, exhaling, releasing your arms, shifting your weight so that it's over your left foot this time, lifting your right leg about 6 inches up off the mat, sending those arms up overhead, clasping those hands together, sending your arms over to the right side. Inhaling up through center, exhaling, releasing those arms down again. Shifting your weight to the right side, picking up that left foot, stretching both arms up forward, creating length, imagining a line between your left hand to left foot. And exhaling back down to center. Let's make our way to the back of our mat to reset through our vinyasa flow here. Inhaling your arms up to the sky, exhaling down into a forward fold. Inhaling, sliding those hands up your shins for a halfway lift. Exhaling, bending your knees till your hands meet the mat, walking slowly forward. Coming into our downward dog, hips to the sky. Heels can be lifted or on the mat. If you find that your lower back is rounding in downward dog, you can bend your knees to create a little bit of more space in your lower back. Send your weight forward over your palms. Plant your knees on the mat, lower down to the mat. Inhale to lift through cobra, just that upper body, squeezing those legs together. Exhale, back down to the mat, then press up into our tabletop position. This time we can try moving through our tabletop by sending our left leg back and straight. And again, you can choose if you want to move through a cat and cow variation or look over to one side and then the other. Explore the ways your spine wants to move here. Plant your left knee back down on the mat, this time extending your right leg long and moving through the same variations. Planting that knee back down on the mat, we're going to come to a seated position in the middle of our mat. Go ahead and reach both of your legs out to the side, somewhere where you feel a little bit of a stretch, but it's not uncomfortable for you. Inhale those arms up. We're going to exhale, hinge at the hips, hands reaching towards the sky or out in front of us. And when we can't bend anymore, that's when we send our hands down to the floor to help us walk a little bit further. Using our hands to walk our upper body back up. We're going to inhale our arms high again. This time, left hand reaching towards your left knee, shin, or toe. Right arm is going to reach up and over. Again, we want to make sure that our shoulders are stacked. That means one shoulder directly below the other. And to do that, you can open your chest towards the ceiling. Inhaling back to center and around to the other side. So arms up first, then dropping your right hand down to your shin or knee, sliding it down your leg as your left hand comes up and over. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring your feet together in front of you. Legs still stretched long. Bring your right foot over top of, actually, let's bring it in the palm side of our foot to our inner left thigh. Great. We're going to do the same thing here where our arms come up. Our left hand is going to reach down towards our left foot. Our right hand is going to go up towards the sky first. And then we're going to begin to send it forward. Maybe it reaches all the way down and we touch our hands and feet together. Most likely it'll hover somewhere in the air. Moving back up through center. This time bringing your right leg over top of your left leg, over to the outside of your left knee. Your right hand's going to come behind you to support you. Your left elbow is going to reach the opposite side of your right knee, hand towards the ceiling, left palm facing the right wall. Your gaze is going to turn around in the way your body is naturally twisting in this pose to look over your right shoulder. Untwisting, coming back through center, stretching that leg out long. This time bringing the left palm of your foot to the inside of your right leg. Inhaling those arms up. Right hand's going to slide down your leg. Left hand's going to reach up and over. Inhaling back up to center, picking up your left foot to place it on the outside of your right knee. Your right elbow is going to come to the outside of your left knee, palm towards the left side of your room, your left hand to the back. Gaze is going to follow that left hand back. Untwisting, coming back to center. Beautiful. Go ahead and make your way to laying down on your mat. My favorite pose in yoga these days is our next one. So bring your knees to your chest. You can interlace your arms, your elbows, or just your fingertips around your knees and just rock your knees side to side to give your low back a little bit of a massage. Maybe do some small circles with your knees. Plant your feet on the mat below you. You have about a minute or so to do any other intuitive movement your body wants to finish the moving part of your practice today. You can stretch your fingers, wiggle your legs, do any last twists. We'll meet together in a comfortable pose, the traditional Shavasana pose. Your legs are stretched long on your mat. Your arms are down by your sides, palms facing the ceiling. But today you can choose anything that is comfortable for Shavasana. So if you want to roll to one side and lay in a fetal position, that works too. Anywhere to give yourself a little bit of space and relaxation, where you can integrate the movement that has happened in your body today. If you want to return to the hugging and squeezing left and right side, you can do that. Or you can just let your mind wander and your thoughts float by. My voice will fall off in just a moment, and I will guide you when it is time to come back together to finish today's practice. Wherever you're at today, bringing some light back into your eyes. You can flutter your eyes open if they were closed. Adding some movement by taking a few bigger breaths, maybe wiggling your fingers and toes, and making your way to a gentle seated position. Today, you can close your practice with any movement that feels right. Maybe bringing your hands to heart center, giving yourself a hug, bowing to your practice for today. Again, my name is Kelsey Wyman. I'm with Love Meets Therapy. I'm a therapist in Washington State. We will be doing a similar flow next week. We're going to focus next week on emotional regulation and using somatic tools for emotional regulation. And then after that, we have a fun Halloween flow for the next one. So I hope to see you all there. It was good to see you again today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your lunch. Thank you for the comments. They're very sweet. Love to see them. See you all next week. Bye.